Hi, welcome back. This is the Monstrosity. If you didn't see the November TBR thing or November check-in where I started the Monstrosity, let me show you just the beginning right quick, or the beginning of the Monstrosity where you can see what I'm doing. And that's where we will be starting. Okay, so I have shuffled a couple of times. I'm going to do just some general mixing of the things, the cards. Okay, here we go. Draw number 1. I'm not looking. I'm going to show you a 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is a standalone. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My son gets to pick. That's what W. That's who W is.
Okay, these are my options. I have these 2 fiction books that are standalones, and I have these 3 non-fiction books that are standalones. So, I could, and these 2 and this Moonglow are available on Libby. So, The Last Cowboys, A Pioneer Family in the New West, and A Girl Tied to Missiles are about the same length. They're about 10 hours on audio, and then Moonglow is about 15 hours on audio. So, I'm trying to decide what I want to do. Do I want to do something that is kind of fast and I can get it done quickly? That's not really the point anymore. So, which one am I most interested in? Both of the non-fiction sound really cool. A Girl Tied to Missiles it says growing up in America's secret desert, and so I think that her father must have had something to do with the missile silos that are in the American, desert area, and maybe she grew up around them or out there. I don't know, but I think that'd be cool. The Last Cowboys is about, so it says it's in Utah where they follow the Wright family of Smith Mesa, and 3 different generations of their family, they follow them as they're dealing with all the stuff that comes with cattle ranching and rodeos and all kinds of stuff. So that also sounds interesting to me. And then Moonglow is a fiction book, but it is about a guy who is hearing his grandfather talking on his deathbed. So it says like a drug-induced deathbed, not really confession, but kind of just story about everything in his life. And
So I'm going to go with Moonglow, and I'll check in with you guys and let you know how it's going. Okay, so let's talk about Moonglow. I'm 36% of the way through this book, and it is told in a really cool style. So the grandfather is telling his grandson about his life, and so we're getting the back history, the far back history, but then we're also from the son, not grandson, getting the near history of his grandfather, like the things that kind of led his grandfather up to where they are right now, because their grandfather is living with them, or at least he's in the same town as them, and that wasn't the case at the beginning. And so we're finding out all kinds of cool stuff about his grandfather's life. I was worried that I wouldn't be engaged because it's literally a telling of a story, and I was like, how do you make that intriguing or whatever? The only weird thing so far is that he's telling about his grandparents having sex, and he just says it in such a clinical way that it's weird. But anyway, I mean, I feel like if I were telling you a story that my grandparents had said to me, that would be like, I did not want to hear that, but they told me anyway. But this dude's just like, and here's what happened. So anyway, that's really it so far. 36% of the way through. I'm wondering what else has happened in this man's life. So far, lots of things already. So we're dealing with the time period. This book must be set in the 90s, maybe. At least we're working our way up in the 2 timelines. One of them takes place closer to World War II. His grandparents were both kids when all of that happened. And so there's discussion about all of that. And then we lead ourselves up to, and when I say kids, I mean like teens. They were young teens to older teens during the war. And so then we lead ourselves all the way up to, like, they've talked about the Challenger explosion, and they've talked about other NASA flights 5 years after. There's another rocket that's taken off. So there's been a lot of stuff in the 80s and maybe early 90s. And then we've got the stuff that's way back in the 50s and 40s. So I don't know when this book takes place, like when is our current time, but I do think it's cool that he's taken historical things and at some point there's going to be a twist on it. I don't know. It's called a speculative history, which leads me to believe that it's like a alternative history. They didn't call it that exactly. They said speculative, but so I feel like it's going to be mostly the same as our history with maybe a couple of little tweaks. So far, everything seems the same, but I'm not a historian, so I don't know for sure. He could already be tweaking things and I don't know it. Anyway, I'm really excited about Moonglow. The only other thing is this book right here was my son's pick. And yes, he picked this romance. I told him, I said, look at this list right here. What do you want to pick? And Heartbeats was not down here where it is now. It was up there. And he said, oh, I'm going to pick something weird. And I was like, okay, go for it. What are you going to pick? And he said, Heartbeats. I was like, that is a romance. He said, yep, that's what I'm picking. So anyway, he picked Heartbeats for his choice. So I will be reading that when I finish Moonglow. And I'm just so excited to be back in the Monstrosity and to be choosing books this way. I do have an idea going forward for how I'm going to do my Monstrosity and my TBR games and all of that stuff. But that's going to kick off in January. I cannot wait for it. Also, there's another thing that I did at the bottom of this list, or the bottom of this page, I guess the next page, I added Moonglow over here. So this is my page for me to say anything about Moonglow, write anything about it. I'm at least going to put what my rating was and what I thought about it over here. Like a little, my review of it will be over here. And then if I have space, I'll put Heartbeats on this page. If not, I'll move Heartbeats to the next page. But I've got some blank pages. I mean, I can make as many pages as I want. So I think that's how I'm going to do it. And this is going to be like all of November 2024. And then I'll make another one when it's time for December. And that's what I'll do every month in order for me to be able to keep up with what I have read in the month in a way that I think I will find more fun and more enjoyable than using a spreadsheet. I'm going to continue to use this Herkid spreadsheet at least through the rest of the year, just because everybody likes the stat stuff, and I do too. It's just a pain to go in and fill it all out. It's not enjoyable to me at all. And so I might not be able to add stats like I want to, but I will still be able to show everything that I've read for the month. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but that's fine. That's not the point of this. We're playing the Monstrosity, and I'm reading Moonglow. Also, they have referenced Moonglow multiple times. Like, he saw her in the Moonglow, or the Moonglow came in. Like, I've at least heard it twice. And I was like, oh, that's the title. Anyway, okay, I'm going to get back to it. I'll talk to you guys when I finish, probably, or unless something major happens that I want to chat about. Okay, I'm back. I have finished Moonglow. Also, I've barely talked today, so clearly I'm a little, my throat is not awake yet this morning. Anyway, I had an idea based on my reading wrap up that I just filmed the other day, and I was looking at my map on there. I think what I want to do is I'm going to change a couple of these over here to say a white part on the world map or a white spot on the US map. And then that means I've got to try to find a book that is set either in that state or in a state or country that is still white on the map so that it's not colored in. So I think I'm going to add that in a couple of spaces on here, and just to give me more opportunity to land on those kind of prompts. Now, Moonglow was so good. First of all, I'm going to call it as being set in Pennsylvania because that is where our main character, Granddad, and the boy stayed a lot. The boy, he's a grown man, but he was a boy in most of the story. Anyway, that's where they stayed a lot. Now, it took place everywhere. And so in a lot of countries and a lot of places, and I was like, I'm just going to Pennsylvania. It's the place that they stayed the most. That does not matter. Moonglow is about a granddad who is not even his biological granddad. There's so many things, so many twists and turns in this book, which we know that from the beginning. I was not giving that away. And I don't mean twists as in like, oh my gosh, there's one twist that is like, what? And it's near the end when he finds out the big secret that a lot of people were keeping through the novel. So that one, that was like an oh my gosh twist. The rest of them are not twists. They're just like, this man's life is outrageous. So anyway, we just follow his granddad as he's explaining his life to his grandson while doped up on drugs. And at one point, his grandson said, "Is everything you're telling me true?" And he said, to what I remember, yes. So he's like in his late 70s. Also, this man is very sexually active to be in his late 70s. I'm like, go ahead, dude, whatever. But that was the thing that was just the weirdest to me. And that was the one thing that I could not get over in the whole book. Anyway, I thought that it was fantastic. I'm giving it 4.5 stars. And that's what always happens when I get these NPR books. They're so different from what I normally read, but I love them so much. So, I mean, hopefully that will continue to be a trend as it has been in the past. So I am done. I did do this, which is what I was hoping to continue doing. I put the dates I read it, I wrote a little something about it, and I wrote where it happened. And then I have started Heartbeats. That is the one that my son picked for me. So that's right here. I've got my leaf on it already to do that. And then when I get close to finishing that, I'll go ahead and draw my next card. It's only 128 pages, but it's also only available on Kindle. And so I will have to see how fast I get it read. I started it last night on the 3rd. I read, I don't know, just a few pages, and then I went to sleep. There's way too many men already that we're getting POVs from. We've got Hart, who was in a band, and at the very beginning we find out that his boyfriend and bandmate was sleeping with their manager's daughter. Anyway, it was a whole convoluted mess. So they've broken up. The band has broken up. Their relationship is broken up. And he has been asked to join an up-and-coming band that the manager also manages. And he's like, you didn't do anything wrong. I'm quitting dropping everybody else, but I'm not dropping you. So how about you come and join this other band, because their drummer is not showing up for practices or anything else, and they're really on their way to being more famous. And so they need a drummer. And I don't know why the cover of this has a guy playing a guitar, because our Heart guy is a drummer. So I think that's weird. But also, when I was looking for this last night, I saw so many covers for this, and I couldn't find a single copy of it. Like, you can't even buy it physically, it looks like. At least not on Amazon. You might have to go to Drew Duncan's website and get it. Anyway, she's Irish. But this is not set in Ireland so far. I think it's set in England. That's kind of just me assuming based on what I've read so far. So I might be changing that, but I wanted to go ahead and get it in here. And so anyway, if it takes more space to write what I want to write, then I'll just use more space. I'm not trying to line up books across the top like this. I've just done it for these first two because that's how it worked. So anyway, that's it. That's where I am. I'm starting Heartbeats. I can't believe my son chose this, because he was like, there's a guy on the front with no shirt on. It's definitely a romance. You're reading that. Anyway, it's really funny. Okay, and then over here, I removed the one book that I finished, and now I have this one ready to go. So here are the rest of the books. I am behind the scenes reading A Discovery of Witches just because I have it available. There's a couple other ones that if they come available on Libby, because they're on hold, I'm going to go ahead and read them because I want to get them done and I don't want to have to wait in line again. So when that happens, that's what I'll be doing. Anyway, that is what my whole list looks like. And right now I'm going to get back to Heartbeats. I will check in with you guys probably when I finish. It's not that long, so I'll be back. Okay, I'm not finished with Heartbeats yet. I'm about halfway finished, and I'm about to head up to my bed and lay down and read, so I'm hoping that I finish it. Here's the 12 that I drew already, so I'm going to shuffle a couple of times and get to draw again, because I at least want to know what the next book is that I will hopefully be starting tonight, possibly at some point tomorrow, but I at least want to know what it is. Okay. So, I don't know that it matters to me what we get. I'm excited for a lot of the books. So here we go. Just right into it. Another 12. Why did I even shuffle these? Okay, let's do this. It's 6 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My daddy gets to pick. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so I'm going to send him a picture of that list of books and tell him to zoom in. He's already in bed tonight, which stinks because he'll have to tell me, but he'll wake up before I do in the morning, so he'll tell me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Less than 500 pages. Okay, so first is my daddy, then less than 500 pages. So I kind of get to decide whatever I want. Less than 500 pages. Okay, so I'm going to text him, and then I'll come on in the morning when I hear back from him, and I will tell y'all what he picked. That's so fun. Okay, good morning. I finished Heartbeats last night, which I don't know if I went into it with the best attitude, but I just found myself wanting to skip ahead and be like, okay, I don't care about that part. I did see somebody else's review where they said that it was too much repeating when the point of views were switched. And I completely agree. Like, we would get a conversation from one point of view, and then when we switched to the other point of view, they would recap the conversation that we were just a part of, like we were there. So, I don't know, that seemed weird to me that that's what they did. Anyway, to the part that y'all care about, I sent the list to my daddy, the picture, and I took this out and sent him this picture that looks just like this. Let me get myself down here out of the way. And so this is what I sent him. I said, zoom in. You don't have to look up all the books to see what they're about. Just look at the covers, at the titles, and pick one. Well, he did look at a few. He said, I looked at a preview of a few of them, and I'm choosing Jade War by Fonda Lee. So I have a physical copy of it. It's up there on my top shelf, and I have already gotten my audiobook copy, and I have already started the audiobook. I just started it this morning. I've read 30 minutes of the audiobook or something. But anyway, I'm very excited to be back in this world. And the only bad news about that is that this book is very long. So who knows when I'm going to be back to update you, but I need to. Oh, I didn't copy my thing. Okay, hold on. As a dad pick, and that's where my leaf is. Oh, I need to move it to the front. I am going around this board so fast with the 212s that I've drawn. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Less than 500 pages is next. Did I do something wrong? No, because I go up here and then I get on the blue. Okay, so I'm doing my lap around the red right now. So as I'm reading Jade War, I will have a look through the rest of these. I'm thinking that I might just go with the Martha Wells book up here at the top because I know it's less than 500 pages. And it's on my 50 before 50 list. So I really want to prioritize those. So I could do that. I could do one of the graphic novels. I know they're less than 500 pages. That would be nice to do one of those. So I think I have a lot that are less than 500 pages. Oh, I could do In Dark, which is one of the Alien Bride books, since I have 3 of those to read. I don't know. So anyway, I have plenty of time to figure it out because Jade War is 24 hours on audio. So I'm going to be here for a minute, especially because I am doing a really good job of reading slower than I was. And so the fact that I've already finished 2 books on the 5th of November is still good. I didn't finish 2 books on the 2nd of November, but anyway, that's where we are. I'll be doing updates on Jade War as we go along. Okay, I think I'll be out of the way up here. Wow, I sound so much better than I have, but that's why you didn't get any updates on Jade War. But I'm finished with it. Here it is. I loved this. I made sure that I listened to it at a slower speed than I was doing. It has 587 pages. This was so good. I had forgotten how much I loved this world. This is a very political book. So if you don't like political machinations, whatever that word is, then this might not be the book for you, but I loved it. My dad picked this book and it was fantastic. So Jade War is done. And then I moved 6 more spaces to this one that was less than 500 pages. And I picked In Dark, which is one of the 7 Brides for 7 Alien Brothers over there. I picked that one. So now it's time to pick another card. I'm in the middle of reading that one. This is book number 5 in the series. The ebook is. Here's my 212s that I drew, moving them to the side for sure. And in this one, In Dark is a creature of some kind. Like his alien species seems to be able to shift. But so far I'm like 30% in, and they're being very not straightforward about what he shifts into. So he's kind of hinting that he can shift. I know that he has fangs, but he doesn't seem werewolfish. So I don't know what he turns into. I'm assuming because he's an alien, maybe he turns into something completely different. I don't know. But he's supposed to be more calm when he has his mate. And so he found her in the city, in the town. Now he's just got to convince her of that. So anyway, we'll see. It's the same as the rest. It's cute. It's probably going to be spicy. And it makes me think about Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. So I love it. It's really, really funny at times as well. All right. One more shuffle. And then I'm going to draw. I mean, I don't want it to be a 12, but I guess I'm okay if it is a 12. Here's our rules again. We're using the phase 10 cards this round. And here we go. A 7. We just get to move forward 7 spaces. Wow. That's not bad. All right, from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go back 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A book specifically for Herkyed. Awesome. So I have a couple. Specifically, I have this Freaking Romance, which is the webcomic, and I have the King Lear Dunbar thing that is specifically for Herkyed. Let's see. I think I'm going to do Dunbar and King Lear because I'm reading an ebook right now, so I kind of don't want to read another one. So first I'm going to read King Lear and see what I think about it. And then I'm going to read Dunbar. I do have a full cast audio, as well as I got a physical copy of King Lear from my library. So my plan is to follow along in the book as I listen, because I think I'm going to need all the help I can get seeing what this is about. I'm excited about this. Well, first of all, it's called The Tragedy of King Lear. I mean, Shakespeare wrote a lot of tragedies, so... But it's got the list of characters. The Royal House of Britain has Lear, who is King of Britain. Goneril is his eldest daughter. Regan, his second daughter. Cordelia, his youngest daughter. The Duke of Albany is married to Goneril, and the Duke of Cornwall is married to Regan. So apparently King Lear starts out with no wife. Then the Gloucester family, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. The Earl is Edgar. No, the Earl is the Earl. Then Edgar is his elder son and heir, and Edmund is his illegitimate son. Oh my goodness. And then we just have other characters in the play. So that seems like this is literally about the King of Britain and his family, and the Earl of Gloucester. I don't know. I'm assuming they're going to tell me how to pronounce that. And his sons. Huh. Nice. The action of the play takes place in various parts of the Kingdom of Britain. Well, there you go. I got my setting. Oh, I see that his youngest daughter, Cordelia, has a couple of suitors, the King of France and the Duke of Burgundy. We also have the Earl of Kent. It says later disguised. I don't know. Anyway, this first line of this book is not going to blow anybody away, but it said, I thought the king had more affected the Duke of Albany than Cornwall. Okay. A riveting first line of this Shakespearean play. That's what I'm going with. Hopefully I'll be able to talk better when I check in with you next time. Okay, you would think that by now my voice would be better. It's actually coming in waves where it gets better and then it gets worse and then it gets better and then it gets worse. Anyway, here's my 2 12s and a 7 that I have already drawn this round. I have like an hour left in Dunbar. I finished King Lear last night. I'm so happy that I read King Lear before Dunbar. Like, all the parallels and everything that I can see is fantastic. Okay, here we go. I'm going to cut them a few times. And, oh, I should be on the other page. The other thing right here to see what it all means. And here is our card. A 1. I just moved 1 space. Really? I mean, I did get 2 12s in a row, so that's okay. I was right here on a Herkyed, and now I have a random letter. So, generally speaking, Let me pull it up. Okay, when I click on it, it's going to generate us a letter, and that's what we're going with. A J. Now, normally I like for it to just be the book that starts with a J, but since I am specifically trying to read this group of books that I have, we're going to also allow authors and titles to start with J, but the titles have to be first. And then if there aren't any, we can go to the other one. Okay, I'm going to delete these because they're almost gone. So let's see what I have. Okay, we have Journey's End already right here. And I think that is the only one we have. So, yes it is. All right. Journey's End by Renee Ryan, which, based on that cover, looks like a Regency, either historical fiction, which I know it's not. I didn't mean Regency. It just looks like an old-timey book. Anyway, I have no idea what it's even about. I don't know how it got added onto my want to read list, but they have it on Everand. So when I finish Dunbar tonight, I'm going to be reading Journey's End. If you guys haven't read King Lear, you need to get you like the thing that I used. Oh, I don't even have it over here because I'm getting ready to take it back to the library, but the one I used was so interesting. It had the actual text on the right side of the page, and then on the left side at the top it had a synopsis, like here's what the Shakespearean words all mean. But then below that it had like, if you're performing this play, here's some ideas that you have about how you can play this scene on the next page. I mean, it had that on every single page. It was so great. I loved, part of it was like, in this part right here, this guy is not finding out, but he hears his dad talking about him and the fact that he's illegitimate. And he's kind of bragging about how he had a son with this woman of ill repute. Anyway, and over on the little side, it said, how do you think the dad is saying this? Like, is he being sarcastic? Is he being belittling of his son? Is he just being boastful about what he's done? Like, in what kind of way would you play that scene? I thought, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So I loved doing things like that or reading things like that. There were so many things through the whole book. And the play is a tragedy. I feel like Shakespeare does that a lot. So, yeah, everybody died, whatever. So now that's kind of what I'm expecting in Dunbar. I'm right here at the end. I kind of can see the parallels between what's happening with Dunbar and what happened with King Lear and where we are with all of that. I don't know, based on the cover of Dunbar, I kind of also thought that it had to do with war. And while King Lear was king of Britain and France was invading during that time in that story, it didn't really have anything to do with war, so neither does Dunbar. But anyway, that's it. I'll check in with y'all tomorrow. Hopefully, I will be able to talk and everything will be great. But we'll see what happens when I get here tomorrow. I'm going to bed. Good night. Okay, I feel so much better than I did last night. Yes, I still sound weird. I'm still a little bit coughing, but I finished Dunbar last night. I really like where they ended it as opposed to where King Lear ended. They just ended Dunbar like a little bit before everything that happened in King Lear, so it makes it a little more palatable, I guess. You just cannot do a newer book and have it end the way King Lear ended. So anyway, I really, really liked it. So I wanted to tell you also, I started Journey's End. Let me talk about this part first before I do the other. Journey's End is historical fiction. It's also Christian fiction, which I didn't realize. I didn't even know that I had any Christian fiction books marked on my list because in my brain I've just always been like, nah, I don't think I would like that. Anyway, I don't know how it ended up there. It was divinely placed on my TBR. I don't know. Anyway, I really like it. And the character arcs are maybe not as big as they are in some places, but I am halfway finished right now, and I can see me reading another book in the series. It just depends on what happens and where it goes in the last half. But in the first half, I like it enough that I would definitely add this series to my list. It's called Gilded Promises. This is book 1. That also probably means I'm sorry if Django is rubbing on the microphone. That probably also means that I'm going to come in here at the end of the day today and go ahead and draw my next read. And I was planning on making this one whole video doing the whole round of Monstrosity, but I think I'm probably going to end it at Journey's End. That sounds like a good place for me to stop. So let me update you on everything else right now. Okay, I'm going to go down here and cover up Journey's End. Okay, so Journey's End was in this spot right here. So I will move Stand All the Way up here. That is a nonfiction book. Okay, Spy Family. I only have one left. I've already read Dunbar and King Lear that was over here. The Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie, I probably just need to add it into here. I did, however, just get a notice that it came off hold on Libby. So I might be reading it a little bit in the background. This is where I was keeping up with all of my stuff. So I need to move my chirp books down here, get rid of the Spy Family book that I read. Let's see what else. I can get rid of King Lear and Dunbar and Journey's End. So I just need to do some shifting around over here and move Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie up here. But that means that I have all of these books checked out on Libby right now, and I would like to get to them before they have to be returned. So I might be moving some things out of order or reading things in the background that I'm not drawing cards for, but none of that matters. I am making good progress. I mean, I have November and December to read these books, and I'm making good progress on them. The thing that's not on here is my new release for November and my new release for December. So that's one of the things I'm thinking through for when I do books, when I do my goals for next year. I've got a really good idea about things that I'm going to do and how that's going to go, but we'll talk about that in those videos in December when we get there. So I'll be back to wrap up Journey's End with you and wrap up this video, and then I'll just start drawing some more cards for the Monstrosity. I don't know why I thought I was going to be able to get like a whole episode, just one round of the game. That's like 20 books. That'd be way too much. But anyway, I'll be back when I finish the book. Okay, I finished Journey's End. I really enjoyed it, and I am going to be continuing with this series. She really took my preconceived notion about what I thought a Christian fiction book was and made it not what I thought it was. Anyway, I thought that it was good. It's just a good historical fiction novel. I will be continuing in the series, like I said. So that is going to do it, though, for this episode. I will be immediately after this starting the next episode, because this is where our little leaf is. We've got to go all the way around the blue. No, we've already done around the blue. Have we? What? Y'all, I was not supposed to do this. Did anybody else notice? I was supposed to go one more over and do a pet pick, not one up. Okay, well, I'm not doing that. We're just going to pretend like that the pets picked that, because I'm not doing that. But I will start from here. Wow. Let me know below if you caught that before I did, because I was not supposed to turn yet and go up. That's when I get up here to lowest rated. Then I turn and we do all the blue, all the yellow, and most of the way around the green. Let's see if we can do that in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.